I'm hoping that this is working. Hello, Twitch crowd. Um,
Hello, world.
so yeah, we'll let it kind of load up. Apologies for a little bit of a delay. Technical difficulties because I break every type of calling device ever. Yeah, I'm gonna just make sure that hopefully everything is coming through. I have to log in on my end, and because I can't do this on the computer, because how I'm hoping this is working is you'll see myself in the lower right corner because I am not as important as Liz,
You
who
are
needs to
totally
take up
recording.
the screen. So we will see. Okay, I'm gonna hold on 1 second. Oh, whoops. Actually, okay. Well, all right. We're you're gonna see some behind the scenes stuff. I think. Let me see. Because what it looks like is we cannot see me very well.
Oh.
You need to move yourself a little bit to the top and to the left.
How do I do that? Just like,
Just click and drag.
whoops, that didn't work. Oh no, it's not letting me drag myself. Okay.
You're
All right.
using the webcam, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
For on OBS?
Nope. Because
Oh, then you can't move it.
because it won't allow me to do OBS and the other thing. You can come in if you want. Yeah.
Yeah, you can only move it through OBS if you're using some other platform.
So I'm having to do Facebook because Skype didn't work. I broke it
You
again.
broke Skype?
I broke Skype
Okay.
again.
So,
I'm sorry.
oh wait, you just moved yourself.
I know. All I can do is this. It won't let me move
Yeah,
it.
because it's Facebook, honey, so you're not going to be able to do that.
Okay.
Now, what you can do is you can make it a little smaller, minimize it.
All right. How about you? Okay, hold on.
So if you just...
I got it. I think I
You
can.
understand? Yeah.
I do not understand,
Yeah,
but
like that.
I will see what I can
Attempt
do.
to comply. Understanding is not required.
I
Only
don't.
compliance.
I don't know how any technology works. So
That's why we have
That's gonna
Jenna.
be perfect.
okay.
All right, I'm gonna go take the dogs outside. You guys have fun.
Bye bye.
Bye, Jenna.
Bye bye.
Okay, I seriously have zero idea how technology works. Jenna is the tech wizard. I am obviously a neophyte.
Oh, good.
So everyone who is continuing to chime in and stream in, hello. Apologies for a little bit of a delay. It is all my fault because I know zero about technology. I think Liz knows a little bit about technology. That's your
I know some things.
it is your day job, right?
It is my day job. Parts of it are my day job. I've been on conference calls on my computer all day.
Oh joy.
It's been fun.
I wonder, it's like people are doing more things at home or something
For some
like that.
reason.
Yeah, it's really weird. So I am going to unfortunately the okay. Again, we're going to see some behind the scenes stuff. And whoops. Okay, because I'm going to oh no, what is that? That's no buenos.
So while
Um,
DC is doing that, I'm going to show you cat pictures. So
it's showing my screen because I'm
then
dumb.
I can't. I can't show
Again,
cat pictures.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I was going to talk about how my cats are really good at sheltering in place, but not so much with social distancing.
Oh gosh. I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, I'm figuring out more stuff. So, all right, here is our Okay, all right. So done with that. Because I was going like, why do I need to prove anything with wizarding and stuff like that? Because whenever I brought up the Twitch stream, it still had the title from yesterday. So I kind of forgot about that. So, anyways, yeah. Now you are here. Show us the cat pictures, and then we will go into the actual content.
Sounds good. I mean, I promised them, and it would be rude not to. So
Yes.
you see, you can't quite see it. Let me.
There we go. Mm-hmm.
There's kitties, and they are sheltering in place, but they are not social distancing as they look out the door at the people.
I guess I should show my non-social distancing cat.
They could walk across the screen at any point too, so don't.
Yeah, no, that yeah, the dogs are. I mean, I have 5 dogs out there that are ready to jump in if they get the chance.
If we need it.
But this
If we
is
need support.
This is how I woke up this morning. Whoops.
Oh.
I don't know if it's yeah. So trying to show cat. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, kitty was like a scarf.
Yes. Kitty scarves are good.
Yes. So besides cats, there's some other interests you have, such as game development?
I do enjoy a good game development.
What's the main one that you've been working on, if you wouldn't mind telling me anything about it?
I have one here. Oh. Your screen is doing the right way.
So do I.
Mine is backwards.
Oh, I'm reversed though. You're perfect. I'm living in the backwards.
I see yours in the frontwards.
Oh, what? Yeah. I see yours in the backwards, so I think we're just okay.
Either way, people understand. So, this Nathan says, pick a direction that's right for you. So we have a little game called Mixed Company that we have made, and it is a conversationally engaging card game for 3 to 6 players, ages 10 and up. And it's been a lot of fun to work on. We've been having a really good time with it. I will also show you, we have a print and play available for print and play style folks. That is what the print and play looks like when you print it before you play it.
So you don't even need to leave your home. You just, as long as you have a printer.
You don't even have to leave the house. You can print it, and it's lovely. It's all colorful, but light ink usage, so that you don't use up all your ink cartridges. So you can print lots of games.
That is good. You'll if you want to message me where people can find it, I will make sure to put it in the chat.
Yeah, can I message in the? Let me see if I message it here.
Just message it through the Facebook app, and then I can copy and paste.
Oh yeah, I sent it the other day. Let me find it again.
Yeah, I can't see messages beyond today because my memory only it resets every day. It's kind of like Memento.
You're good, but that's a good movie.
Yeah.
So, if you go to our store, which is mixed.company.
Very unique.
Yes. I'm sharing it to DC right now. We have a store. If you go to mix.company/buy, then you can order the print-on-demand ones. And the print-on-demand ones are lovely. They look like this. I'll show you some cards.
All right.
They look like this. And they're very pretty. They're very fun to play with. However, you may be surprised to learn that it turns out that manufacturing card games is not considered an essential business in some places. And so they aren't currently producing any print-on-demand at Drive Cards.
Can I tell you that they also don't consider board game cafes essential?
I know!
Which is why I am in this office that is obviously not a game store, except for the number of books and the 20 comic book boxes stacked in the corner of way too many comic books and other nonsense.
Later on we would do this in person at the Game Cafe together in the same place.
Mm-hmm.
But we are social distancing as is appropriate.
We are more than 6 feet apart, I can guarantee that.
We are more than 6 feet apart, and we are sheltering in place and being good citizens and supporting the community. So that's okay. That's good. But that's why print and play is so fabulous. It's because you can do all this from the comfort of your home.
So let's go into a little bit about.
Well, let's talk about it.
Yeah. So what? When did you start working on Mixed Company? What was kind of the inspiration behind it?
So we've actually been working on Mixed Company for a little bit over 2 years now. And we started when I was having a conversation with at work with my boss and one of my coworkers. We were talking about how it can be very difficult to get into a real in-depth conversation with people that you don't know very well, even though you might like to learn more about other people's experiences and why they have perspectives that they have that are different than your own. Because in the world, it's not like I can just walk up to you and be like, hey, so DC, tell me how you feel about women having to wear high heels to work as part of a work uniform.
Unless you were my mom, she would go straight into those kind of topics with everyone and anyone, even a plant.
So you can try to start them, but what they were saying at work is that in their experience, they aren't very effective at actually having real communication at that point. So we talked about it for a while because we talk about weird stuff at my office, but it was a longer conversation than that. But at the end of the day, what they ended up saying is both Steve, who's my business partner now, and our boss were really genuinely interested in trying to get to know other people and try and find out what they felt and how their experiences had shaped their opinions. And they really genuinely wanted to get to know why people felt differently about things in their own life and what people thought about big questions and how they would want to answer them. And so we went through a couple of iterations, and when I came back to work in a couple of days, I was like, so I've been thinking about that a lot, and I think I could make a game out of that. And so we decided to go ahead and do that. So originally, we were actually going to have it as a dinner party game where people would all get together for meetings. And because we're a software development company, my business partner was like, well, I can make this really complicated dating app where you fill out this really long profile where you answer all these demographic questions about your political views and your background and your racial background and your family history and your, 23andMe and whatever. And you fill all this in, and then we were going to make these dinner parties where we would make place cards and put people at dinner parties tables with people that were not like themselves. And then we were going to have this game that you could play together, but that way we were going to force diversity on everyone, make them diverse.
This is much smaller than a placemat.
Yeah. What I learned were two very important things. One, event planning is a lot of work. And I did not want to do it. That was one thing. But the other thing is some of us, people who have played the game or come to a lot of the playtesting events have met Angie and Candy. So Angie and Candy and I would go around and we would be like, we go to conventions and we play this game with people at conventions to try and show them why they needed to sign up for our dinner thing, right? And people would be like, well, I want to take it home. And I'm like, well, you can come to my party. And they would say, but I want to play it with my Nana. And I'd say, oh, bring your Nana to my party. And they would say, no, I want to give you money and take this home with me and play it at my house. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll try and take your money. So that is how it turned into the game that it is now. And it's gone through a lot of iterations. We learned a lot through playtesting, which was really great. So we've gotten it down to around 75 to 100 questions that are the most popular questions. So we started off with like 250 questions. And through playtesting, we were able to figure out which ones people actually enjoyed having conversations about, which ones were really engaging for the people that were playing the game. There's a voting process where you vote on the questions that you want to play with. And so when we were playtesting, we would keep a lot of information about which questions people voted for, which questions got just never even put on the table. And we're able to get down to a really solid set of questions that have been really popular and generated some awesome conversations. And what's been interesting is, as we've done that, so the initial objective was to get people who didn't know each other to talk to each other. But as we were playing the game with people at conventions and events and playtesting, we had these awesome experiences where people, like families, would come and sit down and start playing, and they would say things like, I never knew that about you. Or there was a really cool experience where we were at New World Comic Con, and this family came and sat down, and it was a mom and dad and their 2 older teenage daughters. One of them was out of high school. The other one was at the end of high school. And they were talking about different things, and the question came up, you can either live until 100, but you'll never see the sun again after your 18th birthday, or live until the age of 50 in perfect health. Which do you pick? And the dad was like, well, I'd have to live underground. And we just moved to Houston, and they have all these tunnels that connect everything. Live downtown in Houston, and I could still go to the store, and, we'd be able to watch movies, and everything would be fine. And I'd just get a work at home job, and blah, blah. Like, he went into this whole thing, and his kids and his wife were kind of staring at him. And his daughter goes, well, I can never do that. I love to go to the beach. Like, I live for going to the beach. Like, that's my thing, is I would never be able to go to the beach again. I couldn't possibly do that. And he goes, well, I want to see my grandkids. And so if I choose the other option, then I would never be able to see my grandkids.
At least you didn't have to say, well, I have to go backwards. Then.
Right. And each of his daughters were like, well, I never knew you even thought about that kind of stuff. And he's like, yeah, I think about it all the time. I want to see your family. I want to see who you marry. I want to see who your kids are. I want to get to spend time with them. I want to learn about them. I want to see you be a mom. And so it was this really cool moment where it was a silly question, right? I mean, it's a relatively nonsensical question, though we may all learn how it is to live underground soon. We don't know. But generally speaking, it's not a real world scenario. It's not one of those heavy hitting questions that you think about. But they had this amazing discovery as a family going through and playing the game that was really awesome. So that's been really fun to see too, that sometimes the questions that people get the most engaged with and the most understanding of another person aren't the heavy questions. Yeah. They can be these more esoteric or hypothetical questions that really get you explaining why you feel the way you do about something. So, yeah.
Kind of an interesting segue. Earlier you were saying, yeah, you start off with like 250 questions. It's going to be, amazing variety and everything like that. But then over time, through multiple play tests, you had to kind of scrunch it down into the actual ones that saw play. And it kind of hits to a little bit of game development as a whole, where you can't just hop in and have the best game ever. You really do need that personal feedback from public players, not just, folks like, say you and me who live for games, but other people are, much more, especially with your game, maybe experiencing this kind of a hobby game for the first time. So that perspective is so much more different than the perspective from someone coming at this as more than a hobby. It's our livelihoods, basically, such as you.
Yeah. And originally we had this much more complicated point bidding system where you had all these little chips and you would gamble with the chips in the process of the question. And like, I would bet you that you couldn't do XYZ during the conversation. And you would then have to accept the bet or pass on the bet. And then somebody else could accept the bet. And it was this whole thing. And we were playing through it, and a couple of people were like, this is too long. Like, this is too much. I want to tell you what I want to talk about, and then I want to do the thing. And so it evolved into the voting that we have now with our little, I'll show you our little guys. We have a little mascot. His name is Mixie.
Hello, Mixie.
Mixie votes. So you vote with Mixie. And you say, yes, that sounds like fun, or no, I don't want to talk about that. Or
no, I don't want to go outside. Also, I don't want to get sick.
There's my veto. The veto is the best.
Maybe vetoed themselves out of the deck.
Oh no, they're here.
Eh.
The veto. Without veto. So the veto came out of live gameplay too. I was playing at a convention with people that I didn't know, because that's most of the people that you play with at conventions.
Mm-hmm.
And this couple sat down, and this question came out, and they'd been super talkative, and the woman just like blanched. And the guy who's with her, who was obviously with her, is like giving me the signal. He's like, no, don't.
Okay.
And so I was like, I set it up through the way that we were voting so that it wouldn't get picked. But I was like, there might be a place where, because I don't know them, they don't know me, I don't know that this question is going to be upsetting for her. So having a veto where it's when you vote, it's blind, nobody knows who is voted yes or no, or why they picked something or why they didn't pick something. That's not the point. Like, the point is to answer the question, have the discussion. That all came out of playtesting. So all those evolutions that have really made the game, like the feedback that we've gotten about the pieces that the people that we play with like the most, almost all of them came out of playtesting. Or questions that were submitted by people at events, because one of the things we did at all the different events we go to is we have question cards out where people can submit questions. And about 30% or more of the questions that are in the final game now are all crowdsourced from people who came and played the game and said, ooh, this would be a really good question, and put it in. And so those are the questions that, I mean, a lot of them are ones that we came up with, but a significant percentage of them are crowdsourced ones that people have submitted. In one of the packs that we're going to have together soon is when we did our 2 very exciting Kickstarters. We had people submitting questions throughout the process, and we're going to have Kickstarter questions. Several of them come from DC that are really good. That we're gonna have a Kickstarter pack available that people can get those Kickstarter questions, because they're really good questions. And so you'll be able to get a pack of questions. It's just those questions too.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. I know that, yeah, the Kickstarters, it's definitely a rough market, especially now with, even though more and more people are staying inside, I've seen the number of Kickstarters that actually get to a good level, like they've been kind of dropping just because there is a lot of uncertainty now in this kind of day and age, where it is, actually beneficial, though, that you have, the print and play version that they can just print at home while they're self-isolating and keeping social distance and everything.
Yeah, well, and some games work better on Kickstarter than others. And what we learned is I learned a lot by doing the Kickstarters and going through that process. But our game is just not well suited for Kickstarter, and that's okay. It's just not, that crowdfunding platform is not a great platform for our game, because what we've learned is you really have to experience it, get to play it, know somebody who's played it. Like, it's a much more, the whole point of the game is that it connects people, and as soon as we get to play with people, they love it. And we have a lot of YouTube videos up now, so we have a YouTube channel that I will send you the link for as well.
I will also post that one.
can watch people play, which David, who is from Absurdist Games of the famed meat game Cherskaria, and the upcoming Paleo Vet, which will do well on Kickstarter, I'm confident, has said that one of the best ways he has seen to sell our game is having somebody just listen to somebody else play, because the conversations will come up, and you get really interesting conversations very quickly. And if you just get to see people play and listen to people playing, then it's really engaging. So we figured, well, we'll have more YouTube videos up, and that way, I'm going to get it from a different place.
I heard there was one video that would have been really interesting, but it got lost to the ether.
It was so good, man.
I mean, it was not meant to be, obviously.
It was so good. And I was so sad when the audio didn't come through. It was, oh my gosh.
We'll just have to we'll redub it. Like we'll make up whatever people are saying, like kind of like riff tracksing or something like that.
That would be good. Could totally do that.
All right.
Well, and when we can get together again and play games, we're going to film more things at Commonspace.
Yeah.
And that would be awesome.
How about, now that I have your attention for a little bit, you want to hit me up with a couple of those questions, and I can give you, at least so the audience can see or hear, or well,
Oh,
I guess
sure.
both see and hear, what kind of questions there might be. Yeah, just pull 3, and then we'll just kind of go through them.
We'll vote with our words.
Sure.
Let's see. All right. Do any of these ones? Okay, yeah. So this is from. We actually did one of the things we've had a lot of people ask us about a 2-player version.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, we haven't had a ton of success because the main rules are competitive. Which is a lot of fun when you're in a group of 3 where people, when one person's not feeling like somebody's targeting them all the time, it works really well. But when you're 2 people, if you're trying to play the game competitively, it can get a little antagonistic. Some couples dig that, apparently. It's been interesting to watch some people do it, and they're like, no, I need to school him. And that's fine. But so these are...
Like that.
Yeah, who would do that, my husband asks from the other side of the room.
Mm-hmm.
So these questions are not yet published, but they will be soon. They are from the relationship pack. So they're new questions that you haven't gotten to play with yet. So here are 3, and then you can pick the one you want to do first.
Okay.
So the first one is love only a combination of chemical reactions and comfort levels and memories? And how do you know that you're in love? The second one is, what is the best relationship advice you've ever heard? And the third one is, what is a unique talent that most people don't know that you have?
I thought these were going to be softballs.
Why? You're a pro. You're a pro. You've played this game before.
I
There's
know. You know what? Jeez, I don't have any unique talents.
Oh, I'm sure that you do, but if you don't want to pick that one, that's okay.
And like I said, my memory only extends back to the beginning of the day, so I can't
Sure.
remember advice. So I guess let's go with question number 1.
Okay. So is love only a combination of chemical reactions and comfort levels and memories? And how do you know that you're in love?
I will go ahead and say I think love is those factors and a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that love is feelings, and it's a special fuzziness that you get beyond like the love for, say, like, animals and pets and your family and stuff like that. Because as far as relationships go, I feel like it's something that drives you to want to become better for the other person. Now, I mean, as far as like the families and, really good friends and stuff like that, so many different types of love, in my opinion. But as far as specifically a relationship, it makes you want to become the best person you can be. And every day being with that person makes you want to do better, and seeing them gives you that special feeling that kind of wells up inside. And it's like, you think that you're about to burst with that feeling, but then you wake up, it's like, that was just the beginning. It's still growing. And every day feeling like that, I feel like that, and other combinations, I think that's love.
I do too. I think that's good. I like that. And I agree. I think that there probably are like chemical reactions and different physical neurological responses that happen that make you more inclined to fall in love with somebody than somebody else. But I don't think that it can get boiled down to that, because I know too many people who have started off with that chemistry, that neurological combination of, passion and excitement and engagement, and they aren't able to take it to a place where it turns into that kind of longer term relationship that you're talking about, that we kind of think of when we think of like being in love. And so I think that there has to be more to it than just the physical chemical responses, or it'd be easier, frankly. I mean, like, honestly, both of us having been in long relationships with other people for a period of time, it would be so much easier if it was all just like chemical and there wasn't anything else to it. But there's a lot of that other stuff that gets in there that is really important to being in a partnership with somebody else and in a relationship, that however someone defines that partnership in their life has to come from more than just physical responses and neurological chemicals and buzzing in the brains, that because we don't see it in computers, right? Nobody to my knowledge has been able to program that. They've been able to simulate elements, but it tends to fall apart when you get into the fuzzy stuff. It doesn't hold true.
I know a couple of robots that might say differently, but
Well, and I'd love to meet them sometime. They could come play. They could come play Mixed Company.
But yeah, I think that sounds. I definitely agree.
Yeah.
Let's go over a couple other questions. Let's do like three different sets of three.
Okay. You're gonna do some from the regular game now?
Whichever, however.
Okay.
That means yes.
Yes. So this is so what we have online right now is the home edition. Oh, these are the heavy ones. I'm gonna put these aside. These are the political ones. There's one political pack that's up now too. I'm not going to pick those right now.
Oh, yeah. That'll be really good for someone you're going to be stuck in the house with for the next 14 days.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, we're really good, though. Like, okay, I lied. We're going to do a couple of them. They're not the kind of political questions that you might expect. So, for example, one of the questions in this pack is, what are ways we can encourage more civil communication within our communities? How do you try and connect with people you believe have different views from your own? And how do you see division in politics impacting you day to day? So those are three questions from the political pack, from the Bridging Divides pack.
What did Nathan say?
Nathan didn't say anything. His phone went off.
Okay, because I can imagine Nathan has some thoughts about these too.
Yeah. Nathan's phone piped in with Dracarys from Game of Thrones.
So it made a very
so he thinks it made a highly appropriate political point
right
of
burn
people with fire. That's not where I'm going with this, but so how do you see divisions in politics impacting day to day? What are ways we can encourage more civil communication within our communities? And how do you try and connect with people you believe have different views from your own?
You know what? I'll go with question number 2, and it's gonna sound really. It's super hard to do, especially with how technological everything has become, and how much more technological we'll probably have to be over the next period of social distancing and everything like that. But honestly, I don't feel like communicating online about these things helps anyone at all. I just feel like again, this is my opinion, I'll have to caveat that, but I just feel like people forget that there is a real flesh and blood person on the other side, and I feel like it's a lot better to have these kind of discussions in person versus doing it just through text online. That's just, I don't feel like you can get anywhere, even if you are both seemingly on the same page, just the nuance is missed through text. And I feel like either doing calls or in-person discussions about it, that's really, in my opinion, the best way to have any sort of civil discourse about this. And, even then, yeah, it's probably not going to be civil, especially, with all the events going on. But Like, that's about as close as I think we can get to getting close to communicating in a humane manner.
So I mean, that's one of the reasons that we haven't tried to put the game online, honestly, is because these kinds of conversations do work a lot better when you're in person with somebody.
Oh, I don't think this. Yeah, I think it should definitely be a game where either you're doing it through a Skype call like this,
Right.
or not Skype, but because I broke Skype.
Sure.
Through a video call or something.
Right.
Like that.
And so one of the other things that with playing Mixed Company we found is having a little bit of structure that makes people feel comfortable expressing themselves. And I think one of the other pieces that we've found playing the game when we're talking about difficult topics is when everybody comes into the conversation wanting to have those conversations. That's another really important piece, that it's very difficult to have those conversations with somebody who's not interested in engaging at that level. And so when you're having those kinds of conversations, if you have a game or a context to be able to do it in, you can actually get a lot farther in terms of appreciating where someone else is coming from, because I feel like it's a little less threatening. Like, people are less defensive and they're less threatened when it's in the context of a game or a different type of conversation than if they feel like the purpose of the conversation is to have an argument. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean,
so yeah. So I think that's good.
All right, let's see our last set. Let's
Great.
make it.
Okay.
Let's keep it not. Or never mind. I was about to try to make a joke about how it's getting heavier and heavier each time. Let's just drop it down. Let's go as soft as you can.
Yes. So we're gonna do. These are from the home edition pack.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you were bitten today, would you rather become a vampire or a werewolf? That's question number 1. Pumpkins go extinct. What is the new Halloween carving tradition for jack-o'-lanterns? And the last one, which you may recall, is what is your go-to song when you need to get pumped up? Is that good?
Yeah, I will skip that one for now, because the third one, I think I've made too many comments about that one. And then the second one, honestly, I've only done pumpkin carving once with one of my friends about 4 or 5 years ago, and it was way too messy for me. So it would not impact me at all. And
the new pumpkin carving tradition is that we just don't.
I mean, yeah. Let's just save them for food. Or whatever the next thing would be. So if I got bitten by a vampire or a werewolf,
yep,
what would I turn into?
Which would you rather turn into? If you were bitten today, would you rather it be a vampire or a werewolf?
And I can't become the vampire's werewolf.
Abomination.
I mean, you can talk through that if that's what you want to do.
What about a zombie vampire?
It's an open question. I mean, you can interpret it the way that you want to.
Well, when I get bit, what will happen is that's actually the secret to get out of the simulation. So whenever I get bit, I'll realize that I was a zombie, and now when I wake up, I'll realize, wait, I'm just a robot who's been following a program, aka like a zombie. So yeah, I'm sorry. Vampires and werewolves, they're mythical. Like, they're not real at all. And then I wake up in this new world on Pluto, and, it's the thriving society there, and I realize, oh, wow, this Earth place, that sounds so crazy. Whoa. Glad I'm not there anymore, and then I'll live my robotic life for the next 10 million years on Pluto. Because Pluto's a planet.
It is a planet, sir. It is a planet. No one can take that away. The science can try, but they can't take it away. Mm-hmm. You'll notice Pluto, god of war, No, Pluto, god of the underworld. Pluto, god of the underworld.
About to say,
Sorry, Mars, god of war.
I don't
Pluto,
know if
god
you're
of the
taking this
underworld.
seriously.
Gets his planet status taken away, and then everything starts going crazy. To Pluto.
Yeah.
Everything starts going to Pluto.
It's like Gus and Scott, Gus and Psyche.
Right.
It's like, hear about
Right.
Pluto? It's messed up.
Right. So, I do have a friend who's a philosophy professor who teaches holographic universe theory, and she has an online lecture where she goes through how life is a simulation and we're all constructs, and it's really good. But so for me, in my fake world where I'm getting bitten by a werewolf or a vampire, they exist because they're biting me,
Like they do.
like you do. So I am gonna go vampire. On account of a couple of things. One, I
You don't
am
like
what
this.
I like to call indoorsy, not outdoorsy. The sun and I already have a very complicated relationship, so that would be fine. Like I'm pretty much used to that. And especially especially if I then have the ability to transform other people with me, that would be a key question. Successfully.
Oh,
Then
so you're going to start being a
I'm going to
biter.
create my own vampire cult, right? Of all my cool friends, and we can live forever and, become rich and famous vampires. Maybe not famous, but at least rich vampires, right? Because you don't want to be a poor vampire. That would be bad. So then I will create my own cadre of vampire friends, and we will be able to silently take over the world.
So basically, you would be the one spreading the vampire corona, basically.
Only very specific people, though. Like a very small circle. I have standards, Nathan says. A very small circle of people that would qualify for my vampire pyramid scheme.
Gotcha.
Because it's turn 2, the rest are food. As we learned from Buffy, turn 2, the rest are food. So, you don't want to spread too far too fast, because then you don't have any food left, and that would go badly. So you got to keep it very, concentrated.
Mm-hmm.
And we would be sheltering in place because we wouldn't be able to go outside in the sun.
Well, let's just get everyone vampires then.
Right?
We don't need to worry about food. There's going to be food on the other end. Promise.
On the other end, it'll work itself out. It'll be fine. We won't have to worry about toilet paper shortages, right? So, bonus.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's yeah. I can agree to that. I'd rather not be bit. I hope you'll ask permission first. I would say thank you, no thank you. Also,
I would ask.
Tell your friends I want to be on the safe list. So
yeah, I would use a surreptitious Facebook quiz and send it specifically to my friends, because I don't want to necessarily tell you I'm a vampire in advance, because then you might get upset and things would change. But if I could send out a little Facebook quiz that I could get the results from, like I could use SurveyMonkey or something, right?
Now I'm super paranoid about any surveys you're going to send me in the future.
And then I would find out who would be interested based on my social dynamics questions, who would be interested in being a vampire. And then I would approach that person and explicitly discuss it with them.
And then
if they agree, then, but yeah. If they don't, then hopefully I can just wipe their memory with my vampire powers.
I mean, mesmerism is a vampire power.
A classic vampire power, right?
I don't know if that was ever brought up in any other recent movies. But anyways, I don't know the Twilight stuff. I only got the soundtracks. Anyways.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's Twilight. Mesmerism is a whole thing in like a bunch of different vampire myths. Because that's how you, as a vampire, survive, right? You wipe the memory of feeding on people, because otherwise everybody would know.
Mm-hmm.
And then you wouldn't be cool anymore, because everybody would know.
I mean, it's being cool is exclusive. So you can't have everyone knowing about the coolness.
Right, exactly. That's why you have to have secret code words and handshakes.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a little taste of Mixed
Yes.
Company. Not in the true Mixed Company format, but if you want to check out more, I've added links to the chat room, and I'll make sure to post links later on as well. Because yeah, definitely in this time of social distancing, you might be stuck wondering what to do, and this is a good way to kind of get to know some additional stuff about people without having to try to specifically ask them in a non-game format way, sort of thing.
Right. Because if we were just sitting here asking each other random questions, somebody might get uncomfortable. And, you know.
But like I do every at the end of each stream, I try to bring up a local business and streamer if I can. So after you're done watching this, in about I think 30 minutes or so, the Bearded Foe is going to start his weekly stream. He is a great local DM, professional. He actually ran our Monday night kids group, and I think all the kids, we could talk with them, which they're being, sheltered, which is good. They would definitely all attest that it was one of the best gaming experiences that they ever had, and I know that they really can't wait to get started back up once Commonspace opens and everything like that. So you can find him on the Bearded Foe on that Twitch channel, and he also has a YouTube channel as well. I'll go ahead and type them in right quick. And by type, I am going to probably copy and paste because...
it's fair.
Yeah, that's what I do. And... because I am silly... Okay, the... Boop-a-doop-boop-boo. My gosh, how come I do not know how to work this?
So while you're copying and pasting, and give a quick shout out for our blog.
Yes, you do that.
So one of the things, if you go to mix.company, we have a blog, and we're going to be adding more blog contributors over the next couple weeks because some people that I know have more time now to write blog articles. And we're going to be having blog discussions about different topics with questions that go with them. And we've got a really cool one from the Gaming Dorks Gaming Corner that's going to be coming up soon. That's about the Dark Crystal series on Netflix that has some really awesome discussion questions. So if you are having a stream, like a binge party or a stream party or something, then you'll have questions you can play with afterwards. There are a couple of spoilers in it, so I'd recommend using the questions after watching it, but they're really good questions.
I mean, if you haven't seen it by now, though.
What?
I mean, it for Dark Crystal.
Yeah. It's really good. So the blog article's great. The questions are awesome. And then we're going to have some new contributors coming in and posting articles and adding question packs as well that people will be able to download as print plays. So it'll be fun. We're going to have new content coming out on a regular basis. So it'll be great.
Yeah. All right. I copied the links in the chat description. I will also be adding them. We'll probably do like a weekly roundup, probably tomorrow or Friday, of all the Twitch streams, people we've talked to, stuff like that. So, yeah, I thank you so much, Liz, for giving us a little bit of your time and talking about your game and hitting me with those questions. So, definitely, everyone out there, we hope you still continue to stay safe, take care, sanitize, and we'll see you on the other side of all this. And also we'll be doing another Twitch stream tomorrow at 7. Not sure what yet. I really want it to be a game I've been wanting to play for a while, but we'll see. So
awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care. Bye-bye, Isles.